Hello Raiders, we have quite a bit to cover today. We'll talk about the Shrouded Sky update expected for next week, and the rumors stirring around it. We received an update from Embark on their ongoing fight against cheaters and exploiters of the game. As you know, this has been an ongoing issue since before the start of the new year, and the studio is taking action. Before we begin, if you want to stay informed on developments in the gaming industry, here's a quick reminder to subscribe to the channel. I put out videos weekly on gaming news along with commentary. Now, onto the first story. We've all been waiting with bated breath for an update to the game, and an Embark community lead recently confirmed on their Discord that there will be no major game update or store rotation this week, but to stay tuned for the Shrouded Sky coming next week on February 24th. Following this, the studio released a short teaser showing a weather vane spinning in the wind, hinting at another wind-themed update. Some have speculated this will be a new map condition featured in Berry City, where strong winds clear the sand dunes, exposing buildings with loot. Others have suggested that the wind may create a sandstorm that will affect your visibility, reducing the distance at which you can see. This could be challenging, where you hear the arcs chirping and flying around, but you can't quite see them when too far. I dread to think of an encounter with a rocketeer or a leaper while under such conditions. Along with the weather condition, there is the expectation of a new flying arc. However, some have pointed out that the new arc threat may very well be the Shredders escaping from Stellamontis, as was mentioned by a lead designer. Some have noted that the icon resembles a winged insect, which thematically aligns with other arcs like the Tick, Wasp, and Hornet. Personally, I'd like to see a fast flying arc that swoops in for melee attacks, something that adds tension and forces players to react and dodge, making you feel like a sitting duck in the open. From posts on Twitter and elsewhere, Raiders are clearly asking for new content with the hope that Embark could meet their expectations. These theories should be taken with a grain of salt, but they're interesting nonetheless, and I look forward to the update. That said, content takes time to develop. With the recent wave from a recent update titled Recent Exploits and Corrective Actions, Embark wrote, and I quote, "Raiders, last week we said we would return with more information once our investigation into recent exploits was complete. That investigation has now concluded. Thank you for your patience while we took the time to do this properly. Though these exploits stem from a design flaw on our part, the way they were used had a real impact on the game's economy and the way the community experienced Arc Raiders. It's on us to address that and work to restore balance. Over the course of this week, we will begin issuing enforcement actions to accounts that we can confirm took advantage of these exploits." On why this took time, they say, "We understand the desire for fast action, especially when both gameplay and the economy suffers. At the same time, our responsibility is, and must be, to act with fairness and accuracy. When we take action on player accounts, we do it based on what we can define, prove, and stand behind. In practice, that includes validating reports against data, confirming exploit usage, scope, and effect, separating accidental edge case behavior from repeated and intentional abuse, assessing the measurable impact on the economy and competitive integrity. We want to act once, with intention, and with confidence that we're doing the right thing. This is the first time we've handled an incident of this nature at such a scale in Arc Raiders. Rather than rushing, we choose to take the time needed to fully understand the situation and make sure our response was consistent with our values and expectations. I think a measured response is the right decision, because while it can be frustrating to play against cheaters, if the company were to be trigger happy with the bans, I think Raiders are far more likely to stop playing if they think they'll run the risk of accidentally being penalized. Finding some sort of pattern in the player's actions is beneficial for the player base, and likely whatever automated anti-cheat they are using, providing it with appropriate data. On the section about consequences, they mention, "We will be taking actions based on severity, intent, frequency, and impact. Outcomes may vary, but actions will include warnings for low-severity cases where abuse was limited, removal of coins tied to exploit activity, suspensions for the severe cases, particularly where exploit usage had a significant impact on the in-game economy and other players' experience. Our goal is to keep the game fair for everyone, and that means holding all players to the same standard." So what do they mean by low-severity cases here? They probably mean players who duplicate items for fun, but did not impact the game's economy or player experience severely. More severe would be those who used it frequently, or those who propagated the knowledge of the exploit for the sake of gain. Embarkers also started issuing takedowns on YouTube videos that promoted glitches or cheats in Arc Raiders. Some creators have reported receiving copyright strikes, as you can see here. Someone received a strike for the ammo duplication glitch. And I think this is great, as the spread of exploit tutorials by streamers and content creators likely contributed to more players cheating. So it's disappointing to see that some creators like Peanut appear to receive little more than a slap on the wrist, despite showing the glitch to hundreds of thousands of viewers. Some have defended him, arguing he did it to pressure Embark into taking action. However, I'd argue it wasn't necessary at the time, and may have created additional problems, as some players reported an increase in exploit use afterwards. Maybe Embark didn't consider the use of his exploits to be severe, or perhaps he didn't want to penalize the biggest streamer of the game. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Finally, they mentioned what they will do moving forward. It's our hope that this response provides a platform for future actions, and we've already improved our detection and tracking, internal review tools, and safeguards to limit the impact of similar exploits. We take this incident seriously, and we're approaching it as both a corrective effort and a learning opportunity to strengthen the systems that support fair play. They go on to say they'll continue monitoring confirmed exploits and take action in a fair and consistent way. Players are encouraged to report issues through official channels to help the team respond more effectively, and Embark thanks those who reported problems and continued playing in good faith while the situation was addressed. Overall, this is positive news. It has been a couple of days since the update, and at the time of writing, there have been posts from raiders announcing the loss of hundreds of thousands or millions of coins, and bans being delivered. For those who received a warning like this one, it reads, "Raider, we've confirmed exploit use on your account. Since use of exploits violates our terms of service and end-user license agreement, we have taken measures by removing a portion of your coins. Continuing use of exploits could lead to account suspension. Taking advantage of exploits has a real impact on the game's economy and the way the community experiences Arc Raiders. It is our goal to fix these issues as soon as possible to restore balance. Please report them in the dedicated channels." While cheating will always be an issue, hopefully Embark's actions will lead to a more stable and fair experience for Raiders. Just as I mentioned earlier, every moment they spend debugging the game or banning players is time they could spend producing and implementing content into the game. So I'm curious what you think. Is Embark doing enough to deal with cheaters? Should the studio have taken a firmer stance against content creators and streamers who use these exploits? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe and give the video a like. Catch me live on Twitch or follow me on Twitter for updates, interactions, and the weekly schedule. Links are in the description. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Take care.